Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today, I wanted to continue a series where I've been looking at a number of popular, powerful endgame uniques, what makes them good, and how you go about getting them. And today, I want to talk about a jewel, Unnatural Instinct. Now, Unnatural Instinct was, until very recently, a drop anywhere unique. So that means that anywhere in the game it could drop, and with an extremely low drop rate, just like Chevron's Wrappings, except it didn't have a divination card. Well, now it has a divination card, and that has changed availability of this jewel. I've said plenty of times before that I feel that this jewel is so powerful on a Scion that it almost impacts the class balance of the entire class. And we'll quickly look at why that is. So, Unnatural Instinct is a jewel that transforms all of the small jewels in a small all of the small passive tree nodes in a small radius. And what happens is, instead of you getting the benefit of the allocated ones and not getting the benefits of the unallocated ones, you instead lose all benefit from the ones that are allocated. So you see that these two life regeneration nodes are doing absolutely nothing for my character, but all of the ones that are not allocated, you receive the benefits from them. And so you see here that where it says basic jewel socket, underneath that I'm getting 9% cast speed. That is 1, 2, 3 nodes. I'm getting plus 10 maximum life. That comes from this life and strength node here. I'm getting a bunch of mana. 1, 2, 3. That's actually one of the main reasons I want this jewel on this build. And I'm getting a bunch of other little things as well. So that is essentially every small node that is completely contained inside the radius here. And if you're ever unsure, you can just mouse over it and you'll see exactly which ones are affected. Actually, it does affect this one, which I didn't think it did. Now, how do you get this jewel? This jewel is usually a drop anywhere unique, but the new divination card Love Through Ice was added in 3.13 with the Ritual League, and that appears to drop, according to in-game reports I've had from a few players, it appears to drop from Veritania the Redeemer with a very low drop rate. Now, whilst in solo self-found there's no real way to target farm Veritania the Redeemer, you can run more Conqueror cycles and maybe eventually get yourself a set, but you probably won't. In a trade league, this means that there's just a lot more of them in circulation. And so where normally Unnatural Instinct can very quickly hit 10, even 20 exalts by the middle of a league, I'm expecting that it'll be much more accessible this league. I picked up 4 copies of the Love Through Ice divination card for between 53 and 59 Chaos Orbs each, which was a big chunk of my character's currency by day 2. That pretty much cleaned me out. But I've received a jewel for it that in any previous league, by the middle of the league, would have been a 50 exalt jewel. So that's an Unnatural Instinct with corrupted blood immunity on it. And leave aside the damage penetrating 1% fire resistance. That's a trivial little bonus, but the real value is the fact that it's got the corrupted blood immunity. In this league, it won't be worth that, but it's still as powerful as it was when it was much more expensive. This jewel is best friends forever with another jewel called Might of the Meek. Might of the Meek causes small nodes in its radius. It has a similar radius, and it causes small nodes within its radius to have 50% increased effect while turning off the notable nodes. So if you were, for instance, to take the skill duration and potency of Will Cluster, but this was Might of the Meek instead, you get 15% here, 15% here, and 0% here. So Might of the Meek is an interesting one because it will amp up a number of the nodes that your Unnatural Instinct is hitting. And that's why it's so good on a Scion. If you're playing a Scion, what you could do is path directly through whichever you value least of mana regen and intelligence, mana, or life and strength, life regen, path directly to this node and then pop an Unnatural Instinct in there. Then pop a Might of the Meek in this basic jewel socket and in this basic jewel socket. These Mights of the Meek will then amplify the effect of some of the nodes that your Unnatural Instinct is giving you. And whilst you'll need to make a decision yourself as to whether this is worthwhile or not, for many builds it is. And it is a pretty popular setup for people to have if they're playing a Scion. And that's why I often say that in previous leagues, you kind of needed 20 exalts to get a Scion going. It was because you needed that setup. Unnatural Instinct, typically 10 to 20, and Might of the Meek, typically 1 exalt each. This League Might of the Meat might be more expensive because it pairs so well with Unnatural Instinct, and with Unnatural Instinct cheaper, there may well be more demand. There are other spots that you can put this jewel on the passive tree as well, but ultimately this spot here specifically is so much better than the other slots for general purpose use that I would say stick with it unless you've got something very, very, very specific in mind. Anyway, that's really all there is to it. It's a very powerful item, very simple item as well, and something that grants an enormous boost, as you can see here, to the power of a character, whilst not doing anything flashy, not doing anything spectacular. It's just a lot of stats in a single jewel slot. And I'm going to leave it there.